doesn't matter that Hamas is launching missiles. I'm out of the article now. I presume you figured that out. Liberals don't care that Hamas is launching rockets from schools and hospitals and UN buildings. All they care about is that Israel is using an inappropriate, response. It's in liberals' DNA to root for the underdog. And to liberals, there is no evil. That's just an alternative lifestyle. There is no evil. And therein lies the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Therein lies this president's inability to lead. He sees America and everything we stand for as being no better, no worse than Hamas, Hezbollah, or any of those other groups. Oh, he won't say it in public, but that's what he really believes. No doubt in my mind. It's what all of them liberals believe. And they're really not liberals. Maybe you call them progressives. I don't know what they are. Back to the article. Any deployment of power will be a short-term and ineffective. Obama will do all he can for innocents up until the moment when he doesn't have to anymore. Then he'll leave them to die. Just like he did the girls in Nigeria. This is me again. Just like he did the girls in Nigeria, the people of Ukraine. It's been the case in Iran where, back to the article, where Obama belatedly denounced the treatment of democracy protesters, then did nothing as they were shot in the streets. Been the case in Ukraine where Vladimir Putin has annexed Crimea and invaded eastern Ukraine. Obama's expressed outrage. Putin has scoffed and his rebel forces have shot down a passenger jet, to approximately zero effective action from the West. Nothing. What have we done? Nothing. It's been the case in Nigeria where after expressing upset over Boko Haram's kidnapping of innocent girls and ensuring the State Department endorsed the power of hashtag, the Obama administration has done precisely nothing. Been the case in Syria, where Obama assured the world that should dictator Bashar al-Assad cross a red line with the use of weapons of mass destruction, there would be consequences. There were none. Assad, who Obama said should go, just signed onto another 7-year term. In sum total, the number of dead in Syria now approaches 200,000. Yeah. I'm not going to agree with Ben on this, portraying all the dead in Syria as poor innocents. They're not. They're not. In fact, as near as I could tell, we should be helping Assad. We had Hillary come out over the weekend, which is another story I have. I don't know if I'll get to it or not. Criticizing in an interview, Obama's inaction in Syria. And everybody, oh, she's so smart. She's so wise. You know, all the conservatives are praising her condemnation or her not condemnation, but, you know, her criticism of the president. But these morons, nobody still gets the fact that the rebels in Syria are terrorists. They're not freedom fighters. They want an Islamic State. They're terrorists. Oh, there may have been a couple of decent human beings at the beginning. Not now. Most likely they're dead. And we've seen no irrefutable evidence that Assad has ever used chemical weapons. We've seen no evidence. What? Just because our government and other people say he did, because the rebels say he did. Well, those rebels are terrorists. And just like the terrorists in Gaza who like to hang live children, by their shirts on fences out in front of the building they're in, where they got their weapons stored so the Israelis won't hit the building. Literally. I saw last week, literally, pictures of them hanging live toddlers by their coats, hanging them on fences in front of the buildings where they had their weapons and their launchers, hoping Israel wouldn't strike the building. These people wouldn't have a bit of problem of using chemical weapons and then taking pictures of the dead bodies and blaming it on Assad. I've seen no evidence, and I'm not going to agree with Ben on this. Painting these 200,000 as innocents, I don't believe it. Show me the proof. And everybody's praising Hillary for criticizing Obama for doing nothing in Syria. Well, maybe his people did tell him, hey, these aren't rebels. They're terrorists. Not before he sent them some arms, Either that or he was just flat out afraid that if he moved, somebody might actually do something about it, which he knows better now. John Boehner's probably hiding under his desk. Back to the article. Now Obama has done the same in Iraq. He'll drop a few bombs. He'll bluster. Then the world's attention will turn to some other crisis, and Obama will blithely move on, leaving our allies to die. This is no groundbreaking revelation. President Obama has always cared far more about appearances than realities. He bobs like a cork in the waves of crisis, skipping to and fro, always careful, attuning his public emotions to achieve the most sympathetic effect. If brief shows of force are necessary, Obama is unafraid to engage in them, but he is willing to make any commitment to taking the lasting. He is unwilling to make any commitment to taking lasting action that will actually affect change. Due to that, he would have to lead rather than follow. He would have to care. Obama's an emotional pro and a foreign policy dilettante. And that is an extraordinarily dangerous combination. Popularity is the Obama doctrine. Ironically, the end result is massive unpopularity. It turns out the world events require prolonged and sustained action rather than posturing. More importantly, the end result is massive casualties. Well said, Ben. Minus the part about Syria, which I disagree with. Other than that, right on. Nailed it. Right on the money. The Obama doctrine is to pretend like you care until you don't have to. Pretty good evaluation, I think. Because it's true. We'll see. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just beyond me. Just beyond me. How? It's not necessarily beyond me to understand how we mistakenly elected this president. You know, being the racists we are and everything. I get how we elected him by mistake the first time. I don't get how we elected him a second time. I don't get how smart people, and I suppose, don't get me wrong. I suppose the people of Germany, quietly whispered in their beds at night and around the dinner table, how did they elect this guy? How could people be so stupid to fall for this? I'm not comparing him to Adolf Hitler. As far as I know, he's not rounding anybody up and putting them in ovens yet. But my point is, the similarity is, how could the American people be so foolish to elect this president for a second term? How is it that the media, approximately half of our population, how is it that they see this man as some great man when he's nothing but an incompetent egomaniac, incapable of real leadership of any kind whatsoever? And the sad part is, our country and the world are paying a heavy price right now for incompetent leadership in the United States. Paying a heavy price, ladies and gentlemen. But there is some good news today. Another story. I got time to get one more for the break.